Let me tell you about a man who became a living legend, a general so feared that his name alone was supposedly enough to stop babies from crying. This is the incredible story of Zhang Liao, and one of the most unbelievable military gambles in all of history.
So picture this. You're posted up in a key fortress. You look out over the walls, and what do you see? An absolute ocean of enemy soldiers. 100,000 invaders. And they're all led by the powerful warlord Sun Quan. And you know what they want? They want your city.
And what do you have to stop this massive, overwhelming tide of soldiers? Just 7,000 of your own men. The odds aren't just bad, they're catastrophic. We're talking more than 14 to 1. I mean, at that point, surrender or just total annihilation seem like your only two real options.
And that really brings us to the heart of this entire story. In a situation like this, everything you've ever learned, all of conventional wisdom, it's screaming one thing: defend. You hunker down, you protect those walls, and you pray to every god you know that reinforcements get there in time. But here's the thing: Zhang Liao was not a conventional general.
So let's set the scene. The year is 214 AD. The place is the super strategic city of Hefei. And the big boss, the warlord Cao Cao, well, he's off on a campaign way out west, leaving this critical spot dangerously exposed.
And this is so important. They were completely on their own. No backup was on the horizon. The fate of the entire city, and yeah, probably their own lives, rested completely on the decision they were about to make. Talk about pressure.
So inside the city walls, you can just imagine this tense debate going down. The other generals, Lai Dian and Yu Jin, they saw only one logical path forward. But Zhang Liao, he saw something else entirely.
And the difference between their plans was just night and day. On one side, you have the textbook defensive strategy, right? Hold the fort, save your strength, and wait for the cavalry. It's safe, it's sensible, but on the other side is Zhang Liao's plan, which, honestly, it sounds like pure insanity. Attack? Take the fight to 100,000 soldiers with your tiny force? Why would anyone even suggest that?
But his reasoning? This is where you see the genius. He got the psychology of the situation. He knew that just sitting there and defending was a slow, agonizing, but inevitable defeat. The enemy was feeling confident. They were expecting a long siege. So the only way to win was to do the one thing they would never expect: to hit them hard and shatter their morale before the siege could even really get started. It's proactive defense at its absolute finest.
Okay, so the debate is over. Zhang Liao is about to turn this completely radical idea into reality. And he's not just going to attack, no, he's planning a lightning-fast surgical strike, something designed for maximum shock, maximum terror.
So that night, he doesn't just pick his best fighters. He creates this brotherhood, right? He hand-selects 800 of his most elite soldiers. And then they all share a final meal, this big feast, where he personally gets them fired up for what is, let's be real, basically a suicide mission. He convinces them that this is their one shot at eternal glory. And then, as the sun comes up, the gates of Hefei fly open. Zhang Liao is right there at the very front, leading the charge himself. Sun Quan's massive army is totally caught off guard. I mean, they're still setting up camp, they're disorganized. The historical records literally say his force just tore through them as if no one was even there.
And get this was not a general commanding from the rear. Zhang Liao was a whirlwind of destruction right in the thick of it. He personally cuts down dozens of soldiers and, incredibly, 2 of Sun Quan's own generals. He was leading by terrifying, brutal example.
And as he's carving this path through the enemy, he roars this challenge across the whole battlefield. It's like a psychological bomb going off. He's not just fighting, he's announcing himself, daring anyone to face him. And the sheer audacity of it sends these waves of panic right through the enemy ranks.
But he wasn't done, not even close. After breaking all the way through the enemy line, he hears that some of his 800 guys are still trapped and surrounded. Without a moment's hesitation, he wheels his horse around and plunges back into that 100,000-strong army just to save them. That act of loyalty is what truly cemented his legend forever.
The charge completely freaked out the enemy commander, Sun Quan. He himself was almost captured in the chaos. The attack was so unbelievably effective that Sun Quan later warned his own generals that even a sick or injured Zhang Liao was a force to be feared. The psychological damage was done.
Look, that charge was unbelievably brave, But it wasn't just a feat of courage. It was the end result of a lifetime of experience and a truly unique strategic mind. So you have to wonder, where did this kind of thinking even come from?
Yeah, this strategy didn't just come out of nowhere. Zhang Liao basically grew up on the northern frontier fighting these nomadic tribes in fast, brutal cavalry skirmishes, where taking the initiative was everything. Years before this, at the Battle of White Wolf Mountain, he used a very similar surprise charge to win a decisive victory. Hefei wasn't a gamble. It was the perfection of a doctrine he had been honing his entire life.
I mean, his courage is obvious, right? But it was his decisiveness, that ability to make a bold call while everyone else is urging caution, and his deep strategic understanding of morale that really made the difference. That, plus a loyalty that inspired his men to follow him straight into an impossible situation.
After that initial shocking charge, Sun Quan actually besieged the city for over 10 days. But it was no use. His army spirit was completely broken. They eventually just retreated in failure. But the impact of this one battle? Oh, it would echo for generations to come.
And this is my favorite part of the whole story, because it really shows you the depth of the terror he instilled. His name literally became the bogeyman. In the enemy territory of Wu, his reputation was so fearsome that parents would actually use his name, Zhang Liao is coming, to get their kids to stop crying. Now that is a level of psychological victory very few generals ever achieve.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Zhang Liao was a master of what we can call proactive defense. He understood that sometimes the best way to defend yourself is to attack first, to disrupt, to disorient, and to demoralize your opponent before they even get a chance to execute their own plan.
And this final quote just sums it up perfectly. Look, plenty of generals were brave, lots of them could fight, but what set Zhang Liao apart was his mind. He didn't just win a battle against impossible odds. He showed the world that sometimes the most radical plan is actually the most brilliant one. And that kind of leaves us with a question, doesn't it? When is taking the greatest risk actually the safest bet?